So what do I have today? Well, I have an axe head that I need to make a handle for. Handle's broken, and normally you'd start with a log like this and the rest of it would become firewood, but I have this which has already come out of one of the logs in my garden. It's not birch, I don't know what it is to be honest, there's a few of them kicking about, but I used this as a head for a sledgehammer, a very quick and nasty one as you can see. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this down and use this as a handle for this, and I'm going to carve it using a crook knife. This is the one from mears woodlore, and they actually make the best one. Just to jump in from the future, the reason that they make the best one is because normally you can get spoon knives and draw knives, and this has the curve that you can see on the end of it has two different radiuses, and you also have a flat section that can be used as a draw knife, so you have all three on this crook knife. Now crook knives are actually named for the handle, not for the blade, so you can get crook knives that just have a curve on them like a spoon knife. You can get crook knives that just have a flat blade. The crook knife name refers to the handle, not to the blade. This is my particular favourite because it does everything that you require. You have essentially a flat blade that you can use as a draw knife. You have the two different radiuses of curve so you can gouge out, and here is just a little separate handle that I made for it that I haven't fitted yet. And what I've actually done is I carved out everything using this crook knife, and I managed to carve out that little thumb slot using the two different diameters, one sideways, one top draw, and it comes out almost as if it's been planed. It needs no sanding. It's very smooth once it's done. So it makes it the perfect tool for what I'm doing. So now that that's out of the way, let us start some music, speed up the time, and get on with making something. Okay, now we're just cutting the tip off of the end of the old sledgehammer handle. Obviously we don't need that because it's got a split in it. So just I have a Japanese saw which is just a really nice saw for cutting it. And then here we're just marking the outside diameter of the axe head, because that's what we want the diameter of the handle to be. We want it thinner towards the blade, but we want the entire handle to be roughly the same diameter. And cutting away using the tomahawk, and then just there I swap over to the axe head because we want a bit of a smoother cut, and then we get rained off. So because there's a bit of rain, we have a little scene change just inside the garage, and back to it we go. So I used one of the bench dogs as something to hit against. Obviously if you have a solid stump this is a lot easier to work on, and obviously this being hardwood, not hardwood but seasoned wood, it's obviously a lot harder. The other problem I'm having is the tomahawk has got such a rounded tip on it, it's gouging a lot more, and I'm afraid to hit it too much harder. This is a problem that's solved by using a normal axe. So here I actually swap over to just using the head, because it's got a lot smoother tip on it. It makes it easier. So yeah, I stick with this for most of the rest of it. And we're just slowly going along, smoothing it out, and trying to get it to the rough diameter. And then here we're just using the crook knife to carve in our tip. Now the actual hole for the axe head is slightly beveled. I think you call it beveled. It gets narrower the closer to the blade it is, so it's roughly the same shape as the blade. So I'm just using the crook knife to sort out a smooth bevel on the back, a smooth curve should I say on the back, and then a slight bevel towards the front, and obviously a sharper curve there. And at the moment I'm just working on the actual top where the axe head is going to go, just so I've got a place for the head first. Obviously you can use a crook knife every which way, and I dropped back to the axe for a little bit just to gouge out a bit more wood when I realised how much more I need to pull off. And there's a lot of to and fro, and it's better to go backwards and forwards between your tools than do too much damage with the axe, and then basically have to start again. So back to the crook knife, same again, we're just trying to get it smooth enough to get the tip in. and then I'll sort out the handle afterwards. I want to sort out the head first, and then you can make the handle to the shape. Because I make a lot of my own tools, I prefer doing it this way, fit the actual tool head on and then work the handle out so it works smoother to you. So the advantage of making your own stuff is you can make it custom fit. There we go, using it as a draw knife, flipping it over, dropping it, using the curve, using the inside. And now here I figure out I want a bit more of a curve in this on the front of the handle. So along the line of the grain here, what I've decided is I'm actually going to cut down here, cut into it with the saw so that I can hog out a lot more material. So this is where we start. Get the saw, cut in a couple of little cuts at the beginning, and then obviously using a bench dog as a backing. And all I'm doing is I'm going down about a quarter of an inch. Just digging in little holes, quarter of an inch in little recesses, so that when I gouge the material it doesn't take too much, there's no risk of it splitting the tail. Specifically I want a lump on the end of the handle left so that it doesn't slide out of the hand when it's wet, and I just like it for aesthetic reasons. So all I'm doing is every inch I'm just putting in a new cut. I put several in the middle where there's a knot just to make it easier, and then using the axe handle, using the axe head, gouging out big chunks of the material, and this makes it go an awful lot faster. And then back to the crook knife once we've gouged out all the material, and then just fining off the tip again so that we've got a good sort of fit on it. And there you can see what I'm doing, just using the crook knife as a draw knife. Now what I'm sort of explaining here is that inside the axe head there's actually, it's like a very subtle figure of 8. It's the way that they drift the heads. So when you want to cut your notch for your wedge, you only want to cut it halfway down. You don't want any deeper than that because you don't want to drive a wedge deeper than that. After that it expands again and you risk splitting the wood. So all I'm doing here is just cutting down roughly halfway down the axe head, and then I have a little scrap piece of timber, which again was another handle that I'm cutting down. Most of the things here get reused. All of the sawdust is going in the fire in the house. So all I'm doing is using the axe head to gouge out the majority of the material, then using the draw knife, the crooked knife as a draw knife, to draw it down to so the tip is just smaller than the wedge, but over an inch's length it goes from maybe a 1/16 of an inch up to a quarter of an inch. So it's got a good amount to press the external timber out against the side of the axe and create a good wedge so that there's no risk of it flying off. And then once that's done, just back to the handle, and now all I'm doing is just sorting out the rest of the handle, making it nice and smooth, getting rid of any sort of scars, any dents where you can see where the axe has hit it. Usually I'll go over this at the end with sandpaper, but not today. I'm just getting the head ready while there's a bit of nice weather, at least sunny weather. And there we've got it, rough shape. I need to cut the actual wedge slightly deeper because I took away a bit more material at the top. So the head goes on, the wedge goes in. I missed a bit of filming, I don't know why, where I hammer it home and then I just cut it off at the top. And you cut through all 3 pieces, so you cut through the 2 sides and the centre of the wedge. Nice and simple. And there we go. Thanks for watching.